interesting topic, which actually has been already touched upon earlier today, is how can you combine the kind of current messaging platform with games, and why to do it and how to do it, and I'm going to go through all that. First, though, a little bit about my own background, like why am I talking about this? So we founded a company called Tribe Studios 5 years ago with some other game industry veterans. And during that 5 years, we developed a technology called Drama Game. And Drama Game is basically a technology for doing multiplayer storylines. So group games that are asymmetric, and games where you are discussing with the other players while you are achieving your goals, your individual goals or your group goals. So basically, it was already about kind of chat-based gaming, but then we just realized to go with the messaging messaging platform approach, and Palringo acquired us last spring, a bit over 4 months ago, right now. So that's kind of the personal background. So Palringo is a group messaging app with focus on games. We have more than 40 million downloads, and we have over 350,000 user-created groups. And most of our revenue comes from games. So we are a very game-focused platform. And when talking about messaging as a platform, so it's not very visible, at least in Finland, to many people, how far it has already gone with these chat apps and messaging apps. But you can already find services for shopping, car sharing, web surfing, pretty much anything you can get from a web, you can already get through a messaging app. And how it works as a platform is like, if you think of a Facebook on a PC and Mac environment, and you make a Facebook game, you don't say that you are making a PC or Mac game, but you are making a game for the Facebook platform. So it's the same way with messaging apps, that you don't necessarily go for mobile, you might go for the messaging platform. And that is actually reshaping now how people are experiencing the internet, because it used to be all browser. But today, as Eric Surford was saying as well, on mobile, people don't spend so much time in the browser, but they spend that time on messaging and all the social apps. So that's the way how they now are using and discovering content. So more reasons why to come along, why this is exciting. So one thing is that, at least for now, there is less games on the shelves. So if you compare with the App Store, and you have some 500 plus apps per day, or whatever is the current figure, the competition is very harsh. And at least for now, there's less competition for the users on the messaging side. And then, of course, if you are building a social or a multiplayer game, you can tap into the existing networks. You may not have that kind of empty lobby syndrome where the players are wondering, like, who do I play with? Because they already have their friends, and there's already networks there. And those same networks and groups can also be a platform where you can discuss with the community. So it's very important to kind of have that two-way conversation and see what your players really think about your games. And because they are in these messaging platforms, that it's a one platform to have that discussion with them and share that community with them. And if you go so far as to include chat as a component in your game, that becomes kind of a user-generated content component that actually increases the lifespan of your game, because users don't come to the game anymore just because of the game, but they also come for the other users and the chat. So that's something that kind of increases the retention. And then last but not least, users are paying money actually for the content delivered through chat apps. So there are already ways to monetize. So how to do it? So the first method of doing this is the easiest one in having a community presence in the chat app. For example, in Palringo, we already have a lot of groups where people are discussing games, and there are clans that are discussing when do they have the next raid or the kind of gameplay strategies. And of course, you can also be there as a marketing vehicle. You can have branded emoticons or message packs. So when people are expressing emotions, they are expressing them with your characters or images. Then the second way to combine the game with the chat app is probably the most well-known, so that the chat app functions as kind of a marketing platform, and the platform links to the game, and the game links to the platform. But there can also be closer ties. Here's an example from our game, Icy Tower, which when you go into the gameplay and you start playing and you get an achievement, you can see the achievement flying there in the game. But then the achievement is also visible in the chat app. So there's kind of an extra link back to the app. And if we go even deeper with this kind of linking the games and the chat, you obviously can have a chat inside the game. A lot of games actually quite naturally have these like clan chats in the game. And as said, this can increase the engagement and retention, because people come back to the game because they don't want to let down their clan. Like they might be already a bit tired of playing, but hey, my friends need me. And what's quite exciting, we are actually going to release a game where this chat inside the game is also a chat group inside Palringo app. So that's one more way to kind of deepen the link to the platform that you are already on. Then the third method is having a game inside the chat. And this is something I'm quite excited about. Our Helsinki office is currently working with these types of games. So you can have a single-player game, which is like a hangman, maybe a math game or a scramble, where you can actually play it alone inside the group. But then people can also join in when it becomes a more competitive kind of a PvP hangman, like who actually gets the word right. But then you can also have multiplayer games that require there to be more people, like we have number detectives, teamwork, which don't really function for just one person. And then the third type here is the group versus group games. Like in this case, there's this monster bot where each group kind of has collectively a monster, and then that monster can attack the other group's monsters, and there's this group versus group mechanic. And if we extend this further, there's of course more genres and more types of gameplay that are still kind of emerging. We can have asymmetric group games, we can have RPGs, adventure games, a lot of board games are very suitable for this type of in-chat gaming, because there it's natural that you have the rules and you have the gameplay mechanics, but you're also chatting with the other players. That happens also when you are sitting around a table. And then interactive fiction. And a lot of this, of course, ties back to what I was talking about, our earlier technology in the background. So that helps us to develop some of these. So, yeah. So going like to the future of where all this is going. So chat obviously is already a platform, and now there's still this lot of innovation happening in the gameplay and the genres. A lot of it is still like going back to the old multi-user dungeons or such like textual adventures, but it's evolving very rapidly. And also, if you look at the kind of history of how games have evolved in general, like it started with a single person sitting in a computer and maybe talking about the game afterwards, so being social after the gameplay. But now we are going further and further along the line of becoming more social. So now people are foremost being social, and then the gameplay kind of comes to the side that while they are socializing and meeting other people, they are also playing games there. And this is kind of where the messaging apps are very good and excelling at. And I think I have a bunch of time for questions still. And if you want to come and kind of meet us, you can come to the group BGC that I just formed up today to Palringo. But also I'm quite happy to ask any questions about anything relating.
Hey, do you know if other messaging apps like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, are they looking into this, having games inside the chat also? Or is this something that you guys are only doing now? Or Is this sort of emerging everywhere at this moment, or what is happening?
It's still pretty rare. It's more linking the games, which WhatsApp is not doing that either. WhatsApp is doing nothing with games, so we are all about games. but yeah, there are some others that. What should I mention? Some like I think Tango has a call, like you can play darts with someone while you are calling with them. It's a voice call, so there's difference. You can have voice call, textual calls. So there's some things are happening elsewhere as well. Yeah.